So welcome to a special episode of CITE Career Connect with Kate. My name is Kate Whitfield and I'm a principal with Alta Planning Design in Ottawa. Episode 1 was recorded last July and recently we posted episode 12 with some bonus ones in there along the way. The focus today is tools people use to look for work in these times. So I'm hoping for tips, but also information for conference participants on what it is like networking virtually and what we can do to help. So maybe in here we can explore more ways organizations like CITE can help and be a part of the solution. So I've invited 3 past participants from Career Connect episodes, so they know what they're doing, to come back and share more. So first, Metin, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm a traffic and transportation designer from Israel. I have 4 years of experience, mostly in design. And I'm interested in transit and active transportation. I think that one of the things that I love most in this occupation is the combine between physics and human behavior. I'm looking for a job in Toronto. I arrived here at the end of August. The ideal position for me would combine design research and liaising with stakeholders.
Awesome, thank you. And I hear you've got a pretty awesome drafting background in there too, as far as I know. So Dishra, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, everyone. My name is Drishya, and I'm a recent grad from U of T with a master's in cities engineering and management. I am vividly interested in active transportation. That's my current interest. And something that has recently caught my eyes is to understand the interaction between land use as well as transit planning. And that's something that I really want to pursue a career in. And something that I'm also interested in is in understanding the economic evaluation of these kind of projects and how it tackles the wider benefits of the society that we live in. And these are the areas that I'm looking to find work into. And I am also looking to find a job in Toronto as well, or in Ontario, any place.
Wonderful, thank you. And Yash, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. So my name is Yash and I recently graduated from University of Toronto last month with my master's in civil engineering, and my specialization lies in the field of rail and transit engineering, and currently I'm working at IBI Transportation Planning Group on some of the design projects on active transportation projects here in Toronto. So yeah, I'm glad to be a part of this event.
It's great to have you here, Yash, because maybe we can talk about onboarding in these times too, because I think you're 1 week in, but let's turn it back to you. Can you please tell us maybe some things you did differently in your networking after being in the episode, because people can use that as tips to apply in their own searches, and also maybe companies thinking about what they could do, how they do things to reach out. So give us some tips there, Yash.
Yeah, sure, Kate. Yeah, so first of all, I would like to talk about my onboarding process. So it started 2 weeks ago. Everything was virtual, and the IT team of IBI, they were really helpful in sending all of the IT equipments and starting orientation for me for just 1 week, and then I quickly jump over to the active transportation project. So talking about my success story in landing a job revolves all around networking, attending some of the career fairs virtually and in person, being a student member of some of the organizations like ITE, YPT, and TAG, and finally learning about the tips and tricks through all the CITE career episodes being hosted by you. So to be honest, my success of landing a job didn't came from just the episode which I attended, but it was through all of the episodes which you have been hosting since last year. So when I was a student, I was introduced about the CITE Career Connect event through one of the CITE member, and his name is Mohammed. And I remember I met him and we had a virtual coffee chat, and he was really impressed by my enthusiasm and interest in transportation and encouraged me to be a part of this initiative. And I remember I quickly connected with you on LinkedIn and asked if I could be a part of this initiative, and you promptly responded it. And one of the key things which I want to mention about the episode which I participated and helped me in the process of landing a job is talking about the entrepreneurship skills and how to show Canadian experience to the employers.
So Yash, there's a lot in there with the onboarding, and think of that sort of emotional side of shipping IT equipment to your house and then saying, good luck, let's get started, right? As opposed to showing up at an office. And then tons of tips, right, about just how to get noticed, how to reach out. And really, it's an exhausting process, though, as you build on from your school and all these opportunities. So I'll turn it over to you, Metin. As somebody that we've had a few good chats, you're in the last episode just published recently. Can you share sort of your suggestions in terms of reaching out?
Yes, of course. First, I'd like to say that the job search job process for me, I think that the hardest part of it is that it's a binary process, meaning there's no, okay, I'll send 100 applications, I'll meet 200 people, and then I'll get a job. It's not like that. It's just something that, it's a binary process, just something that will happen like this. But there is an inner process that I was going through, and I'm still going through my job search. And I found networking was the key part, as I told you before. And it's a game of chances, and we need to increase our chances. And I was I was looking for original ways to get connections. So I have a friend who lives in London, and he has 700 followers on Twitter, and he posted that he has a friend in Toronto who's looking for a job in Toronto in the transportation industry. And through that, I got most of my interviews. So just to give you an idea of how, to find new ways to get to people. And next thing, I try to attend lectures. There are lectures almost every week with YPT and CITE and ITE. And I think that I was lucky enough to meet Jenny Bahar. She's also a member of CITE, and she's mentoring me. She's helping me a lot. She provided me with manuals that Yash was talking about, that I was able to read and try to adjust my skills from my country. And that's it for now.
That's great. I mean, for you, it's using LinkedIn to sort of change the connections made and getting your name out, but also as we've talked, how to sort of communicate the kind of job you want and your skill set. So people, that's a big part of this Career Connect, is people showing that they understand what kind of job they're applying for. So sometimes the episodes are just about what are typical jobs. That's why we start every episode that way, to help people see what kind of jobs are being described and how to sort of paint the picture of what it would be like with you in that position. So Dishra, do you have any tips or other suggestions you want to add in here?
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I've learned along the process is, of course, like networking is the biggest key to land a job. No matter how many resumes and how many applications you send, you need to find someone who's actually in the system. That's someone who actually, that increases the chances of getting a job, or at least chances of getting an interview. But before that, what I've learned is sometimes, like Yash said, technical skills are not that all matters. You need to have soft skills as well, and you need to bring out those experiences that really help you in demonstrating those experiences. And for me, I recently participated in a competition, and that really helped me in increasing my chances of getting connected. Due to that competition, I've seen people who reached out to me saying that, hey, I'm interested in learning about your project. Even that's a very big step for me, because even I don't have any Canadian experience. And in fact, I don't have a lot of industry experience. I finished my undergrad, and then I worked as an intern, and then I chose my master's program. So for me, so far, how I have built my resume is by going and reaching out to these kind of experiences and case competitions. Even that adds value. That shows that you are interested and you're enthusiastic. So that's the kind of feedback I've received on my applications, and that's what everybody has asked me to say, that find a way to demonstrate your skills and not to lose hope. I know times are difficult, but you kind of have to move with whatever you have. And the key skill is to show, like, no matter what all experiences you have, you need to find a way to present that, okay, even this would work, and this can actually be the transferable skills that the company is looking for.
That's such a great example because Dishra, like in our relationship, we've never met in person. I remember how personable you are and how smart, but also I remember that project because it's
Yeah,
a thing that I can hold on to, right? That
yeah,
in my head, because it's that, and that was a competition, right? It was a bike share. Can you just give 2 sentences about what it was?
yeah, definitely. It was a project where we were trying to pose a solution where we could expand bike share Toronto to the suburbs, because the objective of the whole competition was to find a solution to curb a challenge that was encountered during COVID. And COVID, we knew that there were certain, like many of the transit services were cancelled, and all the suburban areas were experiencing congestion. So we came up with an alternative solution saying that, hey, there already exists a service like bike share, which is very successful in downtown. Why not pull it towards the suburbs as well? So that was our research. And during that process, I think the best experience for me was we got a chance to interact with the industry professionals who actually work in these fields. And the kind of suggestions and the kind of knowledge we got from them just by chatting for like an hour and half an hour, that was immense. We never found those things on books. So it's like a very good experience I have, and I still cherish it.
Yeah, it's really great. And even how you talk about it there, I can see why that's the feedback you get, that that's positive in your applications, because it's the confidence, the clarity. It's also the pitch statement. Like you're able to talk about it in a short statement because you don't get, a long time to explain a project to someone and sort of pique their interest. And you try and include things that are important, top trends, but also like an observation too helps sort of show. So let's get Steve to turn on his camera here and join us. If you're there, Steve. So for everybody with Career Connect, I know that I get to be the face of it, but Steve does it with me. He records every episode, brainstorms with me, laughs with me, and then gets it up, posted, social media. So just a quick second to say, Steve, it's been super fun, this whole initiative. I've met amazing people, but I've also really, really, really enjoyed getting to know you. So first, thank you for that. But second, come on, share your tip, your observation, something from the year together, right, of this initiative, if you can.
Thanks, Kate. And it has been a blast. This has been one of the most enjoyable work experiences I've ever had. And it's been so much fun. And it's interesting that you should ask me this now, because I just happened to be looking over at Facebook, and one of these things popped up that said, what would you tell yourself um, if you were what would you tell yourself if you went back and you told yourself when you were at 18 years old? So you go back and talk to your 18-year-old self. And and I, there's a whole bunch of things. But first of all, probably none of them I would listen to. But the one theme that comes through here, and that I would probably tell myself, is the whole networking piece that people talk about. And I don't like actually that word, because it implies um, it's something you need to do, but you also need to enjoy doing it. And you can't I can't tell you you need to go networking and you pick up a book and read how to do it and then go and do it and come across as sincere. So it's not really that. It's so you built. I was thinking you need to boil it down to something even more core than that. And really what it comes down to is that you need to help people. You just whatever it is that you do, if you develop that nurturing wanting to help people, then that is the key to get you into what networking is all about, because that's what it's about. So you first of all don't think about your career or what's in it for you or anything like that. If you go and simply help people, that starts the ball rolling. And then from that, people will notice you, and they'll ask you, well, what do you do? Well, I'm a whatever. And oh, well, I know somebody else who da da da. And that's actually how I got to the position that I'm at here is that I happened to, a friend of mine who happened to be an IT member saw the job posting for this, and he thought, I know Steve, I know he could do this job well. It wasn't really in what I was doing at the time, wasn't really related. And I thought, well, he said, but you've got the skill sets to be able to pull this off. So I applied, and here I am. So even if helping is just going down to um, I don't know, help in a soup kitchen or the food bank, whatever, just develop and nurture that wanting to help people and enjoy it.
I really like that, Steve, but it came up in so many episodes. Matin, you asked about maintaining relationships, like new ones that you formed. It's come up in so many. People ask me, what do I say when I walk up to somebody? And that's still in the same core of it. It doesn't always have to be a business transaction. It can come from a sincere place. It can be an in and out, right? Like, hi, nice to meet you, and you're out of there. Like, you don't have to maintain small talk. And in virtual world, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I need something from you, you give it back to me. It can have many forms, but it comes from a sincere place. And somebody might not have a job for you, but it doesn't not mean that don't become a client, a friend, or you cross paths down the road, right? And you sort of treat those interactions. The other theme from the episode is true to yourself. Not everyone needs to be type A personality, extrovert in your face, but true to yourself. But you still need to, you do it your way, right? That comes up, Steve, many episodes is do it your way, but still find a way to represent you, because you need something that is that sticks, right? If it's just, and I make this simplified statement all the time, I want a job in transportation engineering or planning, doesn't stick. Even though it's the truth, there's not enough there to go like, oh, okay, now I remember you, or I know something about you. It's not, that's where we're trying to say to people to like get a little deeper than that so that someone can learn. So that's really great, Steve. And I'll just pause there. Dishra, you're smiling. So do you have something you want to add or can relate to there?
Yeah, I really like, I second that point that I've heard this many times, like just pitching that, hey, I need a job doesn't really help. You kind of have to stand out by saying something unique, and that's what really puts an impression. Or maybe even sometimes even just sharing some thoughts even kind of brings you into the limelight, because like Steve said, it's not a job. Networking is not a job to be done. It's kind of you're building a connection that should be lasting forever. And to be honest, transit industry is very small and it's easy to maintain that connection, unlike all the other engineering fields that I've been at. So building a connection, and I've been part of many small organizations like YPT and other, even my university. So it's literally it's a small community, and when we talk about planning cities, we talk about communities. So it's something similar to that. It's not just getting yourself introduced, getting the job, and then forgetting that. It's not how it works. So I completely agree with what Steve said.
That's great. Matan, you want to add in?
And I think we spoke about it at the episode, and reaching out to people and trying to connect and sending all those messages, it could be a really draining process. But I can say that for me, meeting and hearing about people's work and people's life, it was very inspiring. I imagine myself doing those things that they told me, and imagining myself working, and it was very inspiring and motivating. So even though it's raining, it's worth it.
Yes, I like that. Like acknowledge the draining, but then the gain is there, right? And then a lot of people have written after episodes that sometimes it's confidence too. So people write me and they say, all I needed was a little boost of I can do it, or confidence that I'll be okay. Because I forget that sometimes, that the also side of putting yourself out there, right? Then you're exposed to also rejection. But really, it's not about that. And as person that reviews resumes, it's not really about rejection, right? It's got so many other variables in there too. But I get it, because you do put yourself out there. So Steve, if we have time, I just want to do a little bit about CITE membership, because I think the audience for the conference needs to hear this to then brainstorm. So one observation over the year is most people that are job seekers are CITE members if they were a student member, which makes sense. Some don't remember or know if they still have an active membership because they might have been unemployed for a while after school, because it's not always that simple to walk out of grad school and walk into a job. And then you and I started researching and we're like, yes, there's 30 under 30, so $30 under age 30. But I'm sorry, not everybody is 30 years old. Matin and I had a conversation a while ago about his ideas, and these are his, of getting access to manuals to learn more, also access to software to be able to experiment, to either learn and also be ready for interviews. So Matin, can you build on that and just sort of talk, because it also helps us think about what organizations can do to help.
Yes, absolutely. So after reading postings, I saw that I'm missing a few skills. So I approached software companies and I asked for educational license, and many companies were very generous to me and provided this kind of license. And I was able to take online classes and learn those software. And another thing that I did was going over manuals. I was lucky enough to meet Jenny Bahar, and she provided me with manuals, and I went over them. And obviously I didn't read all of it, but I marked the important things, and I know where to find what I need when I get my job.
Really great. And again, Steve and I aren't solving this today, right, Steve? But I found that really interesting that time when we spoke about things that organizations can do, and also CITE sort of being relevant to people to get jobs, because a lot of people say they need to get a job and assume that their employer will then pay for a membership, which is a very valid assumption. But CITE also has to compete for employers to pick CITE to pay for the membership. If that's right, Steve, right?
Yeah, so this is actually a subject near and dear to my heart, because I actually started my career late in life as well. I went to university in my mid-20s and didn't finish until I was 35. And so starting out my career, and you're at that point, you're expected at 35, you're expected to be already well into your career and a professional and making lots of money, and can join all these organizations that you're supposed to join, and that you're stuck. So I think it's a really valid point, and something that CIT could probably, or CIT, IT in general, can maybe look at that gap, because more and more people, the fact of the matter is more and more people are changing careers later in life, doing something new. It's not unusual anymore to see somebody who changes careers in their 30s, goes back to university, and they have the same issues starting out in a new profession that somebody who went from high school right into university does.
And the obvious one to acknowledge too is someone who's come to Canada, sort of change maybe the order of things they would do in their life, maybe, right, to try and find a work or go to grad school. If you look at this year, most people, there's a lot of U of A grads have been in the CITE Career Connect episodes, which is wonderful, right? That's a supportive place. A lot of U of T grads, right? But coming from a structure of a grad school and then trying to find work in Canada.
So you talked about joining
the organization, yeah.
And I was thinking about, I came across with Jenny through a community organization, and I was lucky enough to find someone from my profession to be my mentor. So maybe mentoring newcomers would be something that would be relevant for the site.
Yeah, that's really great, Meta. And we also talked about, you talked about ways of practicing writing and English writing skills, acknowledging, right, how that kind of communication too, with those technical skills. That was a really good point too. So another question, any more ideas on what kind of support could be out there? Dishra, why don't you share an idea?
Yeah, definitely. I think CITE could have, I don't know what exact kind of program it could have, but probably more graduate program supports, because for someone like me who recently graduated and I don't have a lot of industry experience, but whenever I apply for a job, people ask for experience. So if I don't have a job, I can't get one. So that weird loop, something that really helps people to make that transition, like probably more grad programs or probably more co-op programs or something like that. Because even I see this in the co-op programs also, they ask for people who are already enrolled. So it becomes a very weird gap for students like me, like where do we apply or where do we fit in that eligibility? So if there was some kind of program that really focused on graduates, that would be helpful.
Great point. I mean, U of T grad, right? Finished. No co-op terms, fine. And it's a very valid point, because it's obvious on resumes with co-op terms that is an advantage, right? But when I read yours, it's a very impressive one. So we need to make sure, this is why this exists too, is to get you connected with people, because someone will grab you up, Dishra. Don't give up, okay?
Yeah.
So, place to end. So Steve, again, you're on here with us. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you, everybody. And I have to say Steve's favorite line, which is subscribe to the CITE YouTube channel, because you get these episodes and you get all the hard work Steve does to post videos from webinars from all the different chapters, right, Steve? So
different sections
awesome.
across the country, yeah.
From across the country, absolutely. So thank you, everyone, for participating today.
And thank you
Thanks a lot,
for
Kate.
this amazing initiative and for inviting us.
Wonderful, yeah. I have absolutely sincerely mean it, that I love, like the amount of people I've met through this has been really amazing, and it's completely opened up my world.
Yeah, thanks a lot for doing a virtual networking in times like these. It has really helped.
Awesome.